Hymn 9.7, Soma Pavamana, 8 verses. Forth on their way the glorious drops have flowed for maintenance of law, knowing this sacrifice's course down in the mighty waters sinks. The stream of Meath most excellent, oblation best of all in worth, about the holy place. The steer true, guileless, noblest, hath sent forth continuous voices in the wood. When clothed in manly strength, the sage flows in celestial wisdom round. The strong wood, when the light of heaven, when purified he sits as king above the hosts, among his folk. What time the sages bring him nigh, dear golden colored, in the fleece he sinks and settles in the wood. The singer shows his zeal in hymns. He goes to Indra, Vayu, to the Asvins, as his custom is, with gladdening juice, which gives them joy. The streams of pleasant Soma flow to Banga, Mitra, Varuna, well knowing through his mighty powers, heaven and earth, riches of Meath, to win us wealth, gain for us treasures in renown. It's said that it's not the blood or the flesh or the other offerings that reaches God itself. It's the obedience, the devotion, the consciousness, and then the offering is thereby accepted. Hymn 9.8, Soma Pavamana, 9 verses. Obeying Indra's dear desire, these Soma juices have flowed forth, increasing his heroic might, laid in the bowl, pure flowing, on to Vayu and the Asvins may. These give us great heroic strength, Soma, as thou art purified in sight to bounty Indra's heart, to sit in place of sacrifice. The 10 swift fingers deck thee forth, 7 ministers impel thee on. The sages have rejoiced in thee. When through the filter thou art poured, we clothe thee with a robe of milk, to be a gladdening draught for gods. When purified within the jars, Soma, bright red and golden hued, hath clothed him with a robe of milk. Flow on to us and make us rich, drive all our enemies away. O Indu, flow into thy friend, send down the rain from heaven, a stream of opulence from earth. Give us, O Soma, victory in war. May we obtain thee, Indra's drink, who viewest men and findest light, gain thee and progeny and food. And may we continue to ask for the means and to be able to accomplish with those means. Hymn 9.9, Soma Pavamana, 9 verses. The stage of heaven, whose heart is wise when laid between both hands and pressed, sends us delightful powers of life onward to a glorious home, dear to the people, void of guile, with excellent enjoyment flow. He, the bright sun, when born, illumined his parents, who had sprung to life, great sun, great strengtheners of law. Urged by the 7 devotions, he hath stirred the guileless rivers which have magnified the single eye. These helped to might the youthful one, high over all invincible, even Indra, in thy law, the immortal courser, good to draw, looks down upon the 7. The font has satisfied the goddesses. Aid us in holy rites, O man, O Pavamana, drive away dark shades that must be met in fight. Make the paths ready for a hymn, newer and newer evermore. Make the light shine as erst they shone. Give Pavamana high renown. Give kine and steeds and hero sons. Win for us wisdom, win the light. And behind the law is the truth. yes, you uphold the law, you strengthen the law in yourself and in society, but it's about, truths behind it all instead of the nitpickiness of, why is legalism even a bad term in the first place? Hymn 9:10, Soma Pavamana, 9 verses. Like cars that thunder on their way, like coursers eager for renown, have Soma drops flowed forth for wealth. Forth have they rushed from, holding hands, like chariots that are urged to speed, like joyful songs of singing men. The Somas deck themselves with milk, as kings are graced with eulogies, and with the 7 priests the sacrifice, pressed for the gladdening draught. The drops flow forth abundantly with song. The Soma juices in a stream, winning Vivasvat's glory and producing morning's light. The suns pass through the openings of the cloth. The singing men of ancient time open the doors of sacred songs. Men for the mighty to accept. Combined in close society sit the 7 priests, the brotherhood. Filling the station of the one, he gives us kinship with the gods, and with the sun unites our eye. The sage's offspring have appeared. The sun with his dear eye beholds that quarter of the heavens which priests have placed within the sacred cell. And sounds like the art of projection, right? The placing of something in the heavens through religious authority or religious priesthood, you could say. But is it priestcraft or is it just priestly activities? Because there's kind of a difference, right? 9:11, Soma Pavamana, 9 verses. Sing forth to Indu, O ye men, to him who is purified. Fain to pay worship to the gods, together with thy pleasant juice. The Atharvans have commingled milk. Divine devoted to the god, bring by thy flowing wheel to kine, wheel to the people, wheel to steeds, wheel, O thou, king, the growing plants. Sing a praise song to Soma, brown of hue, of independent might. The red who reaches up to heaven, purify Soma when effused with stones, which bands move rapidly. And pour the sweet milk in the meath. With humble homage, draw ye nigh, blend the libation with the curds. To Indra offer Indu up, Soma foe queller, chief our men, doing the will of power pour forth prosperity upon our kind, heart knower, strength of the heart. Thou art effused, O Soma, that Indra may drink thee and rejoice. O Soma Pavamana, give us riches and heroic strength. Indu with Indra for ally. Doing the will of pour forth. It's interesting. Because I automatically think the power, right? But sometimes we don't pray directly about ourselves. We pray for the mineral. We pray for the plant. We pray for the animals. We pray for other human beings and creatures that aren't physically incarnate. Hymn 9:12, Soma Pavamana, 9 verses. To Indra have the Soma drops, exceeding rich in sweets, been poured, shed in the seat of sacrifice. As mothered kine low to their calves, to Indra have the sages called him to drink the Soma juice in the stream's wave. Wise Soma dwells, distilling rapture in his seat, resting upon a wild cow's hide. Far-sighted Soma, sage and seer, is worshipped in the central point of heaven. The straining cloth of wool in close embraces Indu holds Soma when poured within the jars, and on the purifying sieve Indu sends forth a voice on high to regions of the sea of air, shaking the vase that drops with meath. The tree whose praises never fail yields heavenly milk among our hymns, urging men's generations on. The wise one with the sage's stream, the sober urged to speed, flows on to the dear places of the sky. O Pavamana brings us wealth, bright with 1,000 splendors. Yea, O Indu, give us ready help. And in the Persian side, the Hyoma, which is like Soma, but there's, according to one recipe, 37 other things other than the marijuana, opium, and ephedra, is spoken of like it's from the water that flows by a tree or something like that. So or it's not even the tree, or it's like there's the home water. So there's that idea that soma is not the substance itself, although you don't use alcoholic beverages and stuff. 9:13, Soma Pavamana, 9 verses. Passed through the place, in 1,000 streams the Soma, purified flows on, to Indra's, Vayu's special place. Sing forth, ye men, who long for help, to Pavamana, to the sage. Effused to entertain the gods, the Soma drops, with 1,000 powers, are purified for victory, hymned to become the feast of gods. Yea, as thou flowest, bringest great store of food, that we may win the spoil. Indu brings splendid manly might. May they, in flowing, give us wealth in thousands and heroic power. These godlike Soma drops effused, like coursers by their drivers urged, they were poured forth for victory. Swift through the woolen straining cloth, noisily flow the Soma drops, like milch kine lowing to their calves. They have run forth from both the hands, as Gladner whom Indra loves. O Pavamana, with a roar, drive all our enemies away. O Pavamanas, driving off the godless, looking on the light, sit in the place of sacrifice. Now, some may not like this term godless because it implies that, you can choose to be without a god. Well, you can live as if there was no god. There's practical atheism and actual atheism. I've talked to people who say they're atheists, and I don't know if I've ever met an actual atheist, just, people who like the term. Hymn 9:14, Soma Pavamana, 8 verses. Reposing on the river's wave, the sage hath widely flowed around. Let me say that verse again. Reposing on the river's wave, the sage hath widely flowed around, bearing the hymn which many love. When the 5 kindred companies, active in duty with the song, establish him, the powerful, then in his juice, whose strength is great, hath all the gods rejoiced themselves. When he hath clothed him in the milk, freeing himself, he flows away, leaving his body's severed limbs, and meets his own companion here. He by the daughters of the priest, like a fair youth, hath been adorned, milking the milk as 'twere his robe, o'er the fine fingers, through the desire of milk, in winding course he goes, and utters voice which he hath found. The nimble fingers have approached, adorning him, the Lord of strength. They grasp the vigorous courser's back, comprising all the treasures that are in the heavens and on the earth. Come the Soma as our faithful friend. And the hymns that are rightful, let us love them whether we use them or not. Hymn 9:15, Soma Pavamana, 8 verses. Through the fine fingers with the song, this hero comes with rapid ears, going to Indra's special place. In holy thought he ponders much for the great worship of the gods, where the immortals have their seat. Like a good horse, as he is led out, when on the path that shines with light, the mettled steeds exert their strength. He brandishes his horns on high, and whets them, bull who leads the herd. Doing with might heroic deeds, he moves a vigorous steed, adorned with beauteous rays of shining gold, becoming sovereign of the streams. He over places rough to pass, bringing rich treasures closely packed, descends into the reservoirs. Men beautify him in the vats, him worthy to be beautified, him who brings forth abundant food, him, even him, the fingers 10 and the 7 songs make beautiful, well weaponed, best of gladdeners. Rapid ears, what does that mean? Is that hedonism? Is it the different sense of perception that drugs or altered states without those drugs can provide? Hymn 9.16, Soma Pavamana, 8 verses. The pressers from the Soma press, send forth thy juice for rapturous joy. The speckled sap runs like a flood, with strength we follow through the sieve him who brings might and wins the kine, enrobed in water with his juice. Pour on the sieve the Soma never subdued in waters, waterless, and make it pure for Indra's drink. Moved on by the purifier's thought, the Soma flows into the sieve by wisdom it hath gained its home. With humble homage, Indra, have the Soma drops flowed forth to thee, contending for the glorious prize, purified in his fleecy garb. Attaining every beauty, he stands hero-like amid the kine, swelling as 'twere to heights of heaven. The stream of the creative juice falls lightly on the cleansing sieve, thus Soma purifying him who knoweth song mid living men. Thou wanderest through the cloth of wool, and it's important that what you use to process things, particularly things consumed, are from animals that are spiritually lawful to consume. Hymn 9.17, Soma Pavamana, 8 verses. Like rivers down a steep descent, slaying the Vritras full of zeal, the rapid Soma streams have flowed. The drops of Soma juice effused fall, like the rain upon the earth. To Indra flow the Soma streams. With swelling wave, the gladdening drink, the Soma flows into the sieve. Loving the gods and slaying fiends, it hastens to the pitchers. Poured upon the sieve, it waxes strong. At sacrifices through the lauds, Soma, thou shinest, mounting heaven as 'twere above light's triple realm. And moving seems to speed the sun. To him the head of sacrifice, singers and bards have sung their songs, offering what he loves to see. The men, the sages with their hymns, eager for help, deck thee strong and teed. Deck thee for the service of the gods, flow onward to the stream of Meath. Rest efficacious in thy home, fair to be drunk at sacrifice. And anything that we eat, drink, or use, the sacred hymns associated with it strengthen it in a way. Now, that's not saying that we pray over our toilet. We can offer an invocation or whatever on our way into the bathroom before we get to the toilet area, right? Hymn 9.18, Soma Pavamana, 7 verses. Thou, Soma, dweller on the hills, effused, hast flowed into the sieve. All bounteous art thou in carouse. Thou art a sacred bull, bard, a sage. The Meath is offspring of thy sap. All bounteous art thou in carouse. All deities of one accord have come that they may drink of thee. All bounteous art thou in carouse. He who containeth in his hands all treasures much to be desired, all bounteous art thou in carouse, who milketh out this mighty pair, the earth and heaven. Like mother kind, all bounteous art thou in carouse, who in a moment mightily floweth around these two world halves. All bounteous art thou in carouse. The strong one being purified hath in the pitchers cried aloud. All bounteous art thou in carouse. And when we've freed ourselves to have experience or to accomplish something, now let me backtrack slightly. Well, I mean that's when we're most that's what it's best. Often we don't have the experience, or we can't accomplish something because we told ourselves we can't do it, or someone else told us that we can't do it, even though they didn't know that we can't do it. Hymn 9.19, Soma Papamana, 7 verses. O Soma, being purified, bring us the wondrous treasure, meet for lauds that is in earth and heaven. For ye twain, Indra, Soma, are lords of the light, lords of the kine, great rulers, prosper ye our songs. The tawny steer, while cleansed among the living, bellowing on the grass, hath sunk and settled in his home. Over the steer's productive flow, the sacred songs were resonant. The mothers of the darling sun, hath he not purified and pregnant the kine who long to meet their lord, the kine who yield the shining milk? Bring near us those who stand aloof, strike fear into our enemies, O Papamana. Soma, bring down the foeman's might, his vigorous strength and vital power, whether he be afar or near. And, well, the near is the immediate thing you got to deal with right away, right? But the far, it helps to repel things. But you don't come near to the foeman by, like countries that aren't on each other's borders traveling to go start wars with each other. That's, Hymn 9.20, Soma Papamana, 7 verses. Forth through the straining cloth the sage flows to the banquet of the gods, subduing all our enemies, for he as Papamana sends thousandfold treasure in the shape of cattle to the singing men. Thou graspest all things with thy mind, and purifiest thee with thoughts. As such, O Soma, find us fame, pour lofty glory on us, censure riches to our liberal lords, bring food to those who sing thy praise. As thou art cleansed, a wondrous steed, O Soma, thou hast entered like a pious king unto the songs. He, Soma, like a courser in the floods, invincible, made clean, with hands is resting in the jars. Disporting like a liberal chief, thou goest, Soma, to the sieve, lending the laud a hero's strength. Now, the cleansing of the hands and all that stuff for rituals and processing the ritual stuff, it's not just a physical thing. And if it was just a physical thing, it would be insufficient for what we're doing here. Hymn 9.21, Soma Papamana, 7 verses. To Indra flow these running drops, these Somas frolicsome in mood, exhilarating, finding light, driving off foes, bestowing room upon the presser willingly, bringing the praiser vital force, lightly disporting them. The drops flow to one common reservoir and fall into the river's wave. These Pavamanas have obtained all blessings, much to be desired, like coursers harnessed to a car. With view to us, O Soma, drops bestow his manifold desire on him who yet hath given us naught. Bring us our wish with this design, as a right brings his new wrought wheel. Flow pure and shining with the stream, these drops have cried with resonant voice. Like swift steeds they have run the course, and roused the good man's hymn to life. And it's fine to have wishes and desires. Why should people criticize that, right? Hymn 9.22, Soma Pavamana, 7 verses. These rapid Soma streams have stirred themselves to motion like strong steeds, like cars, like armies hurried forth. Swift as wide winds, they lightly move like rainstorms of Parjanya-like, the flickering flames of burning fire. These Soma juices, blent with curds purified, skilled in sacred hymns, have gained by song their heart's desire, immortal, cleansed. These drops, since first they flowed, have never wearied vain. To reach the regions and their paths, advancing, they have traveled over the ridges of the earth and heaven. And this, the highest realm of all, over the heights have they attained, the highest thread that is spun out. And this, which must be deemed most high, thou Soma beholdest wealth and kine, which thou hast seized from niggard churls. Thou call'st forth the outspun thread. And first of all, that word that means stingy, that sounds like something else. Thought I'd point that out. I mean, I know I pointed out program after program after program, but some people, you know how they are. Okay. But these things, and what these things do, they go beyond the microcosm and the macrocosm. The hymns have the sacred laws, have the consciousness, and this is how these things that we want, whether we get them or not, or at least here in this world, that's where they become right. Hymn 9.23, Soma Bhavamana, 7 verses. Swift Soma drops have been effused in streams of mead, the gladdening drink, for sacred lore of every kind. Hither to newer resting place, the ancient living ones are come. They made the sun that he might shine. O Pavamana, bring to us the unsacrificing foeman's wealth, and give us food with progeny, the living Somas being cleansed, diffuse exhilarating drink. Turned to the vat, which drips with mead, Soma flows, on intelligent, possessing sap and mighty strength, brave hero who repels the curse, for Indra Soma thou art cleansed, a feast companion for the gods. Indu, thou fain wilt win us strength. When he had drunken draughts of this, Indra smote down resistless foes, yea, smote them, and shall smite them all. And sometimes, you know, even though a curse is against you or something else is against you, sometimes dealing with it is the bravest thing to do, rather than just giving up and letting yourself be trampled over. I know there's the idea that sometimes you'll be hurt more or you'll lose more by fighting it, but hymn 9.24, Soma Pavamana, 7 verses. Hitherward have the Soma stream the drops while they are purified. When blent in waters they are rinsed, the milk hath run to meet them like floods rushing down a precipice. They come to Indra being cleansed. O Soma Pavamana, thou art flowing to be Indra's drink. The men have seized and led thee forth, victorious to be hailed with joy. O Soma, flow, delighting men. To him who ruleth o'er mankind, thou Indu, when effused by stones, thou runnest to the filter, art ready for Indra's high decree. Flow on, best rectus layer, flow, meet to be hailed with joyful lauds. Pure, purifying, wonderful, pure, purifying is he called the Soma of the meath infused, slayer of sinners, dear to gods. Now, sin, or even if a person's character is sinful, doesn't mean they deserve the death penalty. But at the very least, in yourself, kill those false egos. I mean, the structure will still be there to use right. Hymn 9.25, Soma Papamana, 6 verses. Green-hued as one who giveth strength, flow on for gods to drink. he draught her Vayu and the Marut host, O Pavamana, sent by song, roaring about thy dwelling place, pass into Vayu as law bids. The steer shines with the deities, dear sage in his appointed home, foe slayer, most beloved by gods, taking each beauteous form. He goes, desirable while purified, thither where the immortals sit. To Indra Soma flows the red, engendering song, exceeding wise, the visitor of living men. Flow, best exhilarator, sage, flow to the filter in a stream, to seat thee in a place of song. Well, we can follow the paths of nature to figure out places that would be good for sacred rites. Hymn 9.26, Soma Papamana, 6 verses. The sages with the fingers' art have dressed and decked that vigorous steed upon the lap of Aditya. The kine hath called aloud to him, exhaustless with 1,000 streams, to Indu, who, support of heaven, him, nourisher of many, sage, creative Pavamana, they have sent by wisdom to the sky. Him, dweller with Vivasvat, they with use of both arms have sent forth, the Lord of speech infallible, him green, beloved, many-eyed, the sisters with pressing stones send down to ridges of the sea. O Pavamana, Indu, priests, hurry thee on to Indra, thee, who aidest song and cheerest him. And let us use the natural environment itself to connect to and through its patterns.